It was a moment that would forever change a movement dedicated to America's youth. The auditorium was filled with students, eager, attentive, and ready to be inspired. Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, stood at the podium, an educator and advocate, not a politician, but a leader for a generation. He spoke passionately about the importance of civic engagement, critical thinking, and the future of America's youth. The atmosphere was hopeful, until a sudden, sharp sound shattered the air. Charlie Kirk collapsed on stage and the room erupted into chaos. The nation watched in disbelief as news broke. Charlie Kirk, a prominent youth advocate, had been murdered. The suspect, Tyler Robinson, just 22 years old, was apprehended at the scene by authorities. The aftermath left a stunned silence, a community and a country grappling with the loss of a voice for youth. Supporters mourned a mentor. Critics reflected on the violence that had struck a non-profit dedicated to education. Across the country, voices called for unity and reflection, even as divisions lingered beneath the surface. As investigators searched for answers, the nation searched for meaning and for a way forward. The nation watched as Donald Trump took the stage at Charlie Kirk's memorial, calling him a martyr and placing blame squarely on the radical left. His words echoed through a country already fractured by years of political conflict. Supporters nodded in agreement, seeing Kirk's death as the latest casualty in a war of ideals. But critics pushed back, pointing to Trump's own incendiary language. Words that have, over time, painted opponents as enemies, cast doubt on democratic institutions, and urged confrontation over compromise. They argue that such rhetoric has not only fueled division, but has also made violence seem like an acceptable answer for those on the fringes. The aftermath of Kirk's death became a battleground for competing narratives. Some called for unity, urging Americans to reject hatred and seek common ground. Others doubled down, convinced that only victory over their rivals could bring safety and justice. As vigils flickered and headlines debated blame, a deeper question emerged. Does the language of our leaders shape the reality we live in? And if so, who will take responsibility for the climate they help create? In a nation struggling with grief and anger, the debate continues. The words we choose, whether to divide or to heal, may define not just this moment, but the future we build together. The tragedy at the heart of Turning Point USA's story is not just about loss, but about the risks faced by those who strive to inspire and educate a new generation. Turning Point USA's mission has always been to empower young people to think critically, engage in civil discourse, and stand up for their beliefs. But those who challenge societal decay and encourage open dialogue often find themselves in harm's way. The violence that struck this movement was a stark reminder of the dangers faced by educators and youth leaders who dare to make a difference. In the aftermath, communities gathered to reflect, support one another, and reaffirm their commitment to positive change. The arrest of Tyler Robinson brought a sense of closure, but also raised deeper questions about the roots of such violence. As the nation watched, the focus shifted to understanding why this happened and how to prevent it from happening again. The work of Turning Point USA continues as students and leaders come together to address the challenges facing society. Their mission endures, to foster understanding, resilience, and hope in the face of adversity. In classrooms and communities, the legacy of those lost inspires a renewed commitment to education and dialogue. We honor their memory by continuing the work, by building bridges, not walls, and by choosing hope over fear. Each of us has a role to play in shaping a future where education and compassion triumph over violence. The tragedy that silenced a voice has become a call to action, a reminder that the mission to educate, uplift, and unite must go on. The tragedy, while shocking in its immediacy, is sadly not without precedent in American life. It joins a somber tradition. Leaders in education and youth outreach targeted for their efforts to inspire and uplift. We remember educators and mentors, those who sought to guide the next generation, whose lives were cut short by violence. Non-profit leaders, advocates for youth, and voices for change have all faced threats for daring to make a difference. The loss reverberates through classrooms, community centers, and organizations dedicated to hope. These are not random tragedies. They are attacks on the very idea that education and inspiration can change lives, attempts to silence those who empower others. In 2011, the attack on Gabby Giffords reminded us how vulnerable public servants and educators can be. When we look closer, a pattern emerges. Those who seek to enlighten and unite are too often met with violence born of fear and belief. Victims become symbols. Their absence leaves a void in the lives of young people and the communities they served. The murder of Charlie Kirk is a modern echo of this American sorrow, a blow to those who believe in the power of education and youth leadership. Despite the years, violence against those who inspire and educate remains a threat to the fabric of our society, and its echo will shape us all, unless we choose to answer it with unity and resolve.